components for the marrying of Mary King, a game of ghostly possession. Box top, inside a box top. We have the rule book. Rulebook. We have the tokens for special powers. We have these nice glass gems to track things as you play. So you got a blue one, you got a yellow one, you got an orangey red one, and then you have these dark red ones. Control mark or lockdown markers, that tracks your control, that's going to track the day, that's going to track ideas. Then you have this neoprene little playmat that shows you how to do the end of a turn. Here's where you're tracking your ideas and your control, and the end of game. You then have your two decks. Your Mary cards, your ghost cards. Then they have these special powers. You have all these cards that have the control, and then more special powers. If you notice, some of them have the dual Mary and the ghost. Those cards are going to be the same in both decks. These that just show the ghost are exclusive to the ghost deck. So again, Mary's deck, a bunch of controls, and then her special powers. So now we have little player aids that stay out there. These are the card icons that will be on the special power cards. That's a control card. Down here in this corner. And that's what these card icons show. On the other side is the mortal ability for playing with the special abilities. This shows you how to buy ideas. On the other side is the ghost ability. Then you have all these tiles. That'll make up the central board, and then they are all double-sided with Mary. Again, components for the Mary of Mary King. Let's go to the how to play. So here is going to be a very bare bones tutorial on how to play the Mary of Mary King. So there's a couple of things that you will have to know to get started. These are your sideboards. These are called ideas. Your deck is called your mind. Your discard pile is called your memory. There are two different types of cards in the game. There's going to be control cards, which are going to be tracked down here as you play them. And there'll be power cards with which you can play as many as you want on your turn. So on your turn, first thing you're going to do is you're going to gather your thoughts. You're going to make sure you have 5 cards in your hand. You're going to flip over the next cards for your ideas. And then you're going to go ahead and play. So you have daily limits based on which day it is. So on Monday you can buy up to 1 idea and you can play up to 5 control cards. And these are what these cards look like. So if you play a control card, you're going to look at the 2 tiles and flip them to the other side. You can rotate this, so instead of doing this tile and this tile, I can instead play it to do this tile and that tile, which I'd want to, as the ghost. So once you play one, you move this over. And then you move over, and once you reach 5, you can't play anymore. As you see, as you go to Monday to Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you can start playing less control cards, but buy more ideas. So how do you buy an idea? There is a card down here that shows you you're going to discard the top card of your mind, which is your draw pile, to buy one. If you buy one on your side of the board, it goes into your hand for you to play. If you buy it from your opponent's side, you play it immediately and it goes into their discard pile. The goal of the game is to obviously flip all the tiles over to your side. However, come the end of Friday, if no one has done that, then you're going to get a score to see who actually has control. Your final game score is the number of cards left in your mind, your draw pile, plus your control bonus. You look down here, number of tiles you can control, and add that to your control bonus. Higher score wins. The largest area of control breaks ties. Area of control comes into play a second way. So at the end of each player's turn, both players must discard from their minds a number of cards determined by their opponent's largest area of control. So you're going to look, so say Mary had this flipped over and this flipped over. At the end of her turn, we're going to look in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She's got 6. So then I, as the ghost, would just discard 2 cards from my mind. And then I would also look to see how many I have. I don't have anything. It's a nothing. Had I had that, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Mary would select to discard 1 also. So after both players go, it goes to Tuesday and then to Wednesday. And then as you can see, you can buy more ideas. These keep flipping over. You'll run out of ideas come Friday. And again, first person I flip all these over. Or the other way you actually can win is if your opponent runs out of their mind and can't draw any more cards. We've never had that happen, so I forgot about that one. Yes, it's flip over these, end of Friday, or if they can't draw any more out of their mind. All right, now I'm going to kick you over to hear our thoughts. So, thank you, Groom, for that wonderful walkthrough. Anyways, we are now going to give our thoughts on The Marrying of Mary King from Devious Weasel Games. So, if you've seen our previous reviews, what we're going to do is we are going to do the negatives, because we like to end on a positive note. So, negativities. And I'm going to mainly leave this up to the Bryde, for this was a very anticipated game for her, coming from GenCon 2021, when she got a brief overview of how it played. So,
really, really looking forward to this.
What were your negativities?
Okay. Wasn't too many, but I think my biggest one is that whole, and I know that's how the game's played, but it's that whole, like, you have it set in your head that it's going to, okay, I got this tile flipped, this tile, this one, I just need to get these 2 or 3, or you have this plan and this idea how exactly you're going to do it, and you're almost there, and then they change it. Your opponent changes everything. So it's like, there goes your plan. Right out the window.
Yeah, it's just that whole sitting there, and on your turn you've done all this stuff, so you flipped it over, and there's only like 3 tiles left, and then you win. Then you just have to sit there and watch as your opponent flips tile after tile after tile and undoes everything. And it's kind of just that, like, oh, it's all that work, and now I'm getting close to, yeah, it's definitely a stressful off turn.
Yes.
And for me, that also is a lot of downtime on turns. Like, especially near the beginning when you can do the 5 control cards, and then the power cards, so you're doing all this stuff, and you're sitting there and waiting and waiting and waiting. That could go down with more plays of it if when you know the power cards quicker instead of having to read them, but it's still, the person might be playing like 3 to 8 cards on their turn, and you're just waiting.
And my other issue, it just so happened that we found it. I don't know if it was actually found before us. I'm sure somewhere it had to have been. But I got stuck in a loop where I couldn't get out of it.
So I had a 3-card combo that basically, as it just kept going, forced her to just constantly flip over the tiles and have me win. A credit to Devious Weasel. I did message them saying, hey, did we play these right? Is this a loop? I emailed him like a Saturday night, or contacted him through a website on Saturday night. He got back to me Sunday. So that's a big credit to him. Like, he's checking it. He did tell us it's a very corner case. He did give us some suggestions possibly in the future to kind of alleviate that from happening. So we're very responsive, very, very personable. So I will give credit to the ownership of the company. Like, they care about when they get contacted and letting you know kind of how to do stuff. So one more disclaimer, that's not a issue of the game. It was just the circumstances that happened. There is a card that both people have. It's a power called Forget, that when you play it, you stop something from happening. So it just so happened that she had already played that card, so she didn't have any recourse to possibly do it. So it's not like we broke the game. I mean, the game does have counteractions to that, but it's just when it does happen, it does leave that bad taste.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not like it's one that happens every time.
Yeah,
it was just, unfortunately, the luck of the, or unluck of the draw, that it just, with the loop. That was also another negative, not trying to add in. But I know, like, with my cards, with my hand, I got a lot of, there's 12 power cards, I think it was. And it seemed like that was, in my hand, that was all I had. I didn't have any of the control cards where I could flip over tiles. I just basically had, in that particular hand, that it was all your opponent discards, cards, or they move this card to the bottom of their deck, or they move that, and I didn't have any control cards so that I could flip. So it kind of, in that respect, it was kind of
limiting to her, but that's kind of where this game asks you to react, is when you get certain cards, you're going to have to be willing to change on the fly. So you said that's basically all the negatives, right? Downtime on turns, undoing the stuff.
Yeah.
But I will spin that into the positives now as we talk about the game, where, you know, they undo all your stuff, but that does show that on your turns, you are able to do a lot of stuff. It's not like you're getting these turns where you don't feel like you did anything. Like, oh, well, I'm just done. So you are able to do stuff even if you don't have control cards in your hand. That ability to discard a card and draw ideas and get control cards from up here on the sideboards, that's always helpful. That kind of mitigates, oh, I didn't draw good cards, I'll get these ideas to kind of help me along this way. And then the buying ideas and playing control cards as they go across and be in the middle and become more or less. That's kind of cool because mid-game it almost forces you to possibly pivot to where, if you, like, by those last couple days, if you aren't going to be able to get those tiles turned over, then you're going to start looking at, well, I'm going to knock down their deck to try and win on points. I will say, from the times we've played, it seems like it's somewhat hard to win by flipping over all the tiles, unless you can really map it out well.
I was going to say, I don't think we've ever really...
Just the one loop, and that was really it. But even looking at that, like, you're going to have to really be able to plan and manipulate powers really well to get that win. So let that be known that as you play this, you are going to have to react as much as you are to plan. And you can plan, but you need to make sure you have kind of like a backup plan and react to it. But so for the good theme, which I think that's honestly the main reason she got infatuated with this game.
Yes.
I don't even know how much of the gameplay she knew after he showed it when she found out, wait, you're a woman battling for a psyche with a ghost? Yeah, we're going to get that game. Like, you know how it plays? But theme!
But it's a ghost wanting to possess their ancestor or their descendant. I want it. So
what I will say is that at its heart, this is a semi-abstract game, two-player abstract, trying to get area control and flip them over. However, it's a very rich and theme one. You do feel like you're gaining her psyche, and when you're discarding the cards, it's because there's mental torment. between it as she's getting her psyche torn apart. So they do a good job of implementing the theme into the rules and making them make sense. Not like, well, why am I discarding cards? Well, just because. No, it's because her psyche, so your mind's getting affected, and your whole deck's your mind. And when you use stuff, it's your memory. Why? Because you've already used it, so it's your memory. So they do a really good theme, really good job of tying the theme into the mechanics and how the game's played, which makes it relatively easy to teach, especially if you play it a lot. Like, I know both of us kind of had a hard time, ironically, for some reason, getting mind and memory down, but it makes sense when you think about it. But if you're trying to make quick, snappy decisions, sometimes you got to think for a second. But, I mean, it makes sense. Your mind's your big thing. You play cards, it's memory. So.
And I really liked the art. I know you did components, but, yeah, I mean, it's the Ghost and Mary King. Really nice artwork, even on the actual cards. I mean, these are kind of cool, you know.
The component quality in general is just fantastic. I mean, that idea, trackboard being a neoprene mat, they didn't need to. They could have just put a couple of cards in there with the neoprene mat. The gems, the little glass gems, are fantastic. The tiles that you flip over, because you're going to be using them constantly, they went and did the punch board. So they're nice and thick. They're not just cards, so it actually makes them flip over nice and easy. Good manipulation. Yes, dextro manipulation ability. So in the long run, I'd say we enjoy it. I don't know if it's going to be one that we're going to pull out often, just because this isn't a game that we typically play. Again, we bought it 80% on theme, 20% on gameplay. The gameplay is good and is smooth. It's just, like I said, not one that is our typical one. We're definitely going to play it during Halloween times for the spooky theme. And it's definitely going to be one that we're going to pull out if we want that little, just two-player back and forth card playing. Oh, that's the other weird thing about this game. That you sit on the same side of the table. We're not used to that in a game. But it's because you're sitting next to each other, because you have the central board going back and forth. So that's a pretty cool difference that we weren't used to. When she was ready to roll, she's like, you guys sit next to me. I'm like, wait, what? No, we sit across from each other. So.
Although it does make holding your hands a little difficult. Hiding your hands. Exactly.
So, but no. So, like I said, overall, if you like abstract games, especially if you're looking for one with a fantastic theme that plays through, this as well. If you like the Ghost theme and like a game with really thoughtful gameplay, this is it. If you aren't a big fan of abstract, or don't like two players or this theme, then you can pass. But like I said, it will be staying in our collection and going on the shelf and getting pulled out from time to time.
Yes.
Any other final thoughts?
Cool theme!
Alrighty, now we will fade away.
Just like the ghost.